everybody. It is Wednesday. Got the day right today. It's one of those times, I think, where we lose track of the days. So I hope everybody is doing well and is ready to do a little bit of a yoga practice. We're going to do a little powerful flow this morning just to get the juices flowing, kind of stretch the legs and open the lungs. So if you have, I would like for you all to find a strap of some sort. And if you don't have an official yoga strap, you can use a dog leash. I thought that would be a good one. Or grab one of your husband's ties if you happen to have one of those lying around, because he might not be needing them all, not going to work. Let's see, if you have any yoga blocks, that might be helpful for some of our standing poses a little bit later. And other than that, let's just get started with our class. So, by the way, my name is Silke, and I'm happy you all could join me this morning. We're going to find a comfortable seat, so balancing evenly on your sitting bones. If you need to elevate on a blanket or a pillow, go ahead and do that. And we're just going to start by settling yourself onto your mat, into your own body, and hopefully out of your head space, out of the craziness that's swirling around us all. So sitting up nice and straight. Let's take a big breath in, sweeping the arms up. And then open your mouth and exhale with a big sigh. Allow your hands to rest lightly on your legs. Maybe join your index finger and your thumb. Tip your chin slightly down towards your chest so you elongate the back of your neck. And just begin to breathe in and out through the nose if possible. Noticing the lifting and broadening of the collarbones as you inhale. And think of settling more deeply onto your sitting bones as you exhale. Maybe your eyes close. Maybe you're just gazing softly down at the floor in front of you. Begin to do a little scan through your body, checking in with your muscles and your bones. Just noticing how things are feeling. Trying to notice without attaching any sorts of judgments to those feelings or noticings. Maybe bringing extra breath or extra gentleness to any areas that might be a little bit stiff or sore or achy today. Imagine the air is flowing all the way to the very bottoms of your lungs. So relax your belly muscles. Allow that expansion of the torso to happen as you inhale. And as you exhale, draw the belly button towards the spine. Just gently help to squeeze the air out. Ready to inhale again. Relax those belly muscles. Feel that great expansion. As you exhale, it's a little contraction around your center. Maybe start to add the ocean-sounding ujjayi breath, making a slight constriction in the back of the throat so that your breath is a little bit audible to those closest to you, which might be the cat or the dog. Reconnecting with your breath can help you reconnect with the normalcy of life. Finding that familiar place in your breath. One more big breath in, long breath out. And then slowly open your eyes. As you inhale the next time, grab a hold of your knees and just lift your heart a little so it's a little bit of a seated back bend. And then as you exhale, round your back. Draw your chin to your chest, your belly button to your spine. Little seated cat. Inhale. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, round. Let's just do that 2 more times. Inhaling, lifting. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift the heart, little arch to the back. Exhale, round the spine. Okay. And then inhale, come on back to center. Sit up nice and tall, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, drop your right arm and lean over towards the right. Inhale back up. Exhale, drop your left hand and lean to the left. Good. One more time up. Exhale, drop your right arm. Now I'm speaking in mirror talk here in case you're facing me doing this class. I'm not crazy. I do know the difference between my right and my left, and I probably will get them messed up at some point during this class. Exhale, lean again to your left. And then inhale, both arms back up. Exhale, twist towards your right. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, twist towards your left. Inhale, center. And exhale, bring your hands forward. Crawl forward a little bit, rocking side to side. Finding a little stretch to the hips. And then crawl your hands over to your right. Nice big reach through the left fingertips so you feel a big stretch on the left side of the back. And then inhale back to center. And exhale over to your left. Reaching through the right fingertips. Big, big stretch. And then come on back to center. Walk your hands back, and then we're going to switch up the crossing of your legs. So bring your other leg in front. Chances are you sat in your most comfortable way first, which is fine. But now we're going to have to switch it up. And then again, crawl your hands forward, little rock side to side, noticing the difference between the 2 sides. Embrace your awkward side. And then again, crawl your hands over to the right, nice big stretch. Back to center, and crawl the hands over to the left. Big, big reach. And then come back to center, bring your hands back, and go ahead and uncross your legs. Now make sure you have your strap handy. And we're gonna slowly work our way down onto the floor. We're gonna do a little bit of core work as we work our way down. So grab a hold of the outside of your thighs. Gently tuck your chin to your chest, and start to lower your torso down. And then extend your legs straight. So you're in a little scooped out, hollowed out position. And you can keep grabbing your thighs, the sides of your thighs, and we're just gonna rock a few times, forwards and backwards. So imagine you're like a little dish rocking or a little boat rocking. Now if you want this to be a little bit more challenging, you could place your hands across your chest, keep rocking. This is gonna get more challenging. If you want even more, you can extend one arm overhead. You can either keep the other arm on your leg or across your chest. Or most challenging of all, which I probably can't do, is extend both arms overhead as you keep rocking. That's really hard. And let's just rock another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice. Come onto your backs, hug your knees into your chest. Circle the knees around a few times just to release the lower back. And then circle back the other way. And now release your knees and come into a happy baby. So soles of the feet face the ceiling, legs are open wide. Reach for the outer edges of your feet. If you can't quite do that, wrap your arms behind your knees. Draw your knees towards the floor on either side of your torso. Maybe rock a little bit side to side. And then release your feet to the outside edges of your mat. You can open your arms out to the sides or overhead. Drop your knees to the right. Pause for a moment. Just lift through that left hip. Feel a stretch through the left hip flexor. And then come back to center with the legs. Drop your knees to the left. Maybe stretch the arms overhead. Lift that right hip, feel a stretch through the front of your right thigh. And bring it it back to center. One more time to each side. So drop your knees to the right, maybe grab a hold of your left wrist, extend that left wrist all the way up and back behind you. And release the wrist, bring the knees back up and drop your legs to the right. Grab a hold of your right wrist, lengthen through that right side body. And release the wrist, bring your legs back, walk your feet back in and lower your hands. Now find your strap or your dog leash or your tie or whatever you're going to use. And then we're going to place your right foot right across the strap and extend your legs straight. So try to get your leg up as high as possible, but it's more important to keep the legs straight. So holding the strap on both ends. If you'd like, you can extend your left leg straight. Keep a flex to the left foot as though you're pressing it against a wall. And then soften your elbows. Ooh. And just explore this first hamstring stretch. And just take a few breaths. Think of softening into the exhalation. Try to relax your shoulders away from the ears. So you might want to move your elbows more down in towards your torso. You can gently press that foot up into the strap. Release, press, release. And then go ahead and take both ends of the strap into your right hand. Place your left hand on your hip bone and open your right leg out to the side. As soon as you feel your left hip lifting up, stop your leg there. And then see if you can pull the right foot a little bit higher towards your head. Still keeping that left foot actively flexing. So you're grounding through the left leg. And then inhale, bring your right leg back up. Take both ends of the strap in your left hand. You can take your right thumb, place it right in your hip crease at the very top of your right leg and externally rotate your right leg a little bit. Let your foot cross your midline. Ooh. And then see if you can pull that whole right leg a little bit closer towards your left shoulder. Maybe it's your right foot, but you will feel this all the way down the outside of your leg. And then gently release. Slide your left heel back up and allow your right ankle to cross over your left leg and place your strap off to the side. So coming into our figure four stretch, you want a little flex to that right foot. Send that right knee away from your body. And this might be enough for some of you. Just stay right here. If you want a little bit more, lift your left foot off the floor. Possibly interlace your hands behind your left knee. And draw the left knee in towards your left shoulder. Keep pressing that right leg away from your body. You can use the strength of your muscles to move the leg, or maybe just give a little press with your right elbow. Your left foot can be loose. You can kind of swirl the ankle around a few times. You can relax that heel by your hip. Maybe even rock a few times side to side. They say that you hold negative emotions in your hips. So this will help to alleviate some of those, maybe release some of those negative emotions from the hips. And now go ahead and release your left foot back to the floor. Let your thighs slide together so there's no space between them. Open your arms out to the side a little bit. And then drop the legs to the left. Maybe turn your head to the right. Enjoy that full twist of the spine. And then turn your gaze back to the ceiling. Lift up the legs, uncross the legs. Find your strap again. And do that whole series on the other side. So wrap the strap around the ball of your left foot. Extend your left leg straight. If you'd like, extend your right leg straight along the mat, flexing strongly through the right heel. And then allow your elbows to bend and your arms to pull your left leg a little closer to your face. Find your breath. Soften into the exhalation. Send happy thoughts to your hamstrings. Lengthening, softening thoughts. Press up against the strap a few times. And then release the stretch a little. Take both ends of the strap into your left hand and open your left leg out to the side. Once you feel your right hip lifting, stop the left leg where it is. And then maybe pull the left foot a little closer towards your head. And inhale, bring your leg back to center. Take the strap in your right hand. Left thumb can go into the hip crease. Externally rotate the left leg slightly. Allow your leg to cross your midline. And then gently pull the foot closer towards your right shoulder. It's probably not going to go very far. And then release. Good. Slide your right heel up towards your hip. Allow your left ankle to cross over your right knee and set your strap aside. So flex the left foot. Send the left knee away from your body. And then lift your right foot off the floor. Interlace the hands behind the right knee. Gently draw the right knee towards your right shoulder. Rocking if it feels good. You can rotate your right ankle around a few times. The right heel kick towards the right hip. Maybe noticing if one side was a little bit more resistant to this stretch than the other. And then release your right foot back to the floor. Let your thighs slide together. Open your arms out and drop your knees to the right as you turn your head to the left. And then bring your gaze back to center. Bring your knees back up. Uncross the legs. Tuck your hands behind your knees. Gently bounce your heels towards your hips a few times. And then lift up your head and rock a few times forwards and backwards. Eventually making your way all the way back up into a seated position. So if you need to turn to the side and press yourself up, that's fine. And let's find ourselves once again in a cross-legged position, this time with your right leg in front, sitting up nice and tall. Turn towards your right knee. Place your left hand on your right knee and your right hand behind you. So we're going to inhale, extend through the crown of your head, and as you exhale, twist towards your right. And now lift up your right hand, lean over towards your left knee, and come into that great big side stretch. Go ahead and take your right leg and sweep it back behind you. We're going to sweep our legs straight back and come into pigeon pose. So I'm going to turn sideways on the mat. into your fingertips. Good. We're just gonna flow a little bit into this arching, back bending, hip flexor opening pigeons. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, fold forward. Good. One more time, lift up. And then fold forward. And now go ahead and walk your hands forward and see if you can lower your forehead either to the floor, or if that's a little bit far away, stack your fists one over the other and rest your forehead on your fists. And then just try to relax into this stretch. Relaxing the belly muscles, relaxing the muscles of the face, especially right between the eyebrows. Walk your hands back, and now we're going to just roll over onto your left hip. Slide your right leg up and find your right angle poses, or right angles with your legs. So you want your right shin parallel to the long edge of your mat, your left shin parallel to the front edge of your mat, and your feet are flexed as well. Now walk your hands around, coming into that great big twist, and now see if you can walk your hands forward, lowering down onto your elbows. Pause here for a few breaths, softening into this big twist. And if you want to add the last little element to this twist, slide your left arm forward slightly, take your right hand underneath your left, try to come onto the blade of your hand like you're going to karate chop the floor. And then just slide your hand underneath your left arm and turn your head so that your right ear faces the floor. You can maybe scooch a little further. And then slowly bring your arm back, bring the arms back to parallel, lift the elbows, and just walk your hands back. And then we're gonna sweep your right arm back, and you're gonna windshield wiper the legs. I'll turn around so that my face is facing you. Okay. And then coming back towards the front of your mat, facing the front of your mat, we're gonna come back to our cross-legged position, and this time have your left leg in front. Sitting up nice and tall again. We're going to grab a hold of your left leg with your right hand, and the left hand goes behind you. I think I said that right, I'm not sure. Inhale, extend up, and then start to lean towards your right knee. Let your left arm come up and come into that big side stretch. Bring your hand back behind you. Take one more moment to stretch up and twist a little deeper. And then release back to the front. Lean a little bit towards your right hip. Sweep that left leg back. And we're going to come into our pigeon pose again. Coming up onto the fingertips, lifting up the heart, and then coming forward. Inhaling up. Exhale, fold forward. Keep moving, inhaling up, exhaling, lowering down. I'm just going to switch sides here. And then when you're ready to fold forward, either bring your forehead to the floor, extend your arms forward, or stack your fists and rest your forehead on your hands. It doesn't have to be fists. If you can make it down to your stacked palms, that's great. Again, finding the breath, softening into those areas that might be talking to you a little bit more loudly than others. Relaxing the belly, relaxing the muscles of the face. Slowly bring yourself back up. Lean over onto your right hip, slide your left leg up so your shin is parallel to the long edge of your mat. Bring your right leg forward so that shin is parallel to the short edge of your mat, and flex your feet. So look down, make sure you've got all right angles going on as best you can. And then walk your hands around, finding the twist. Maybe walking your hands forward and lowering onto the elbows. So stopping wherever is appropriate for your body. And then if you'd like, take your left hand, place the blade of the hand on the floor, slide it underneath your right arm. Twist so that your left ear turns towards the floor, and maybe extend that left arm a little bit further. Ugh. And then gently release. Bring your hands back to parallel. Lift up the elbows, walk your hands back, and then sweep the left arm back. Windshield wiper the legs side to side a few times. And then turn back towards the front of the mat, and just come on up onto all fours. We'll do 1 or 2 cat-cows. Make sure your knees are hip-width apart, fingers are spread nice and wide. And then curl your toes under. Really grab the mat with your toes. So you get a nice little stretch to the sole of the foot. Maybe turn your index fingers so they point up at the corners of your mat. And then grip the mat strongly. So you're going to press your finger pads into the floor. And then lift up and stretch back into downward facing dog. And just take a few breaths here, pedaling your heels. Bend and straighten your knees a few times. You can even twist. Explore your dog. And then take about 2 or 3 breaths with your feet in stillness, reaching the heels towards the floor, really lengthening through the arms and through the spine. Soften your knees, look forward at your hands, and either float or step. I'm going to step because it's our first one. Walking the feet all the way up towards the front of your mat. You can come on up onto your fingertips. And then bring your fingers to your shins, extend your spine. As you exhale, fold forward, bending your knees. And then as you inhale, come on up with bent knees and a flat back, reaching all the way up. And exhale, hands come together at heart center. So now we're going to flow a little bit. So we'll start with 3 half sun breaths just to get the sense of moving with your breath. Let your breath be the instigator, and then your body follows your breath. So inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, hinge forward, little bend to the knees. Inhale, come halfway up. Fingers can be on your shins. Extend your spine. Keep the back of your neck nice and long, so keep looking flat straight at the floor. Exhale, fold forward, bend your knees, and inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Do 2 more. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, come halfway up, extend the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Bend the knees, inhale, come up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. All right, we're gonna move on a little bit. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, come halfway up, extend the spine. Exhale, hands come down, step back to a plank. Hold your plank for a moment. Strong belly. Think of rounding up between the shoulder blades, strong thighs. You're reaching strongly through your heels, holding that plank. Good. Breath in. And then exhale, stretch back to downward dog. Inhale, roll forward into a plank. Exhale, back to dog. Inhale, forward to plank. Exhale, back to dog. Then move your toes a little closer to each other. Inhale your right leg up and come into a big three-legged dog, letting your hips open to the right, flexing your right foot, reaching the right knee up. Try to keep your shoulders square. And then as you exhale, square your hips, sweep that right knee underneath, let your back round, bring your nose towards your knee, and step your right foot forward. Oh, good. And then from here, bring your right hand up onto your right thigh. Find something to gaze at that's not going to move, so the floor in front of you. And then sweep that left leg up, or left hand up. And exhale, sink down. Good. We're going to add a little bend to this, a little side bend. Reach that left arm up and back, or up and over. And then come on back to center. Now take your left hand and sweep it all the way back until it finds your left thigh. And now press your left thigh up into your hand as you reach your right arm up. Keep your gaze fixed straight forward. If you dare, you can look up. Good. And now let your left arm come up as well, finding a great big arch through the back. One more big breath. And exhale. Let your hands find the floor and straighten your front leg. Coming into our pyramid pose. Maybe the forehead reaches towards your right shin. Flowing here, inhale into the lunge, exhale, straighten the front leg, sending your back heel towards the floor. Inhale, lunge, exhale, pyramid, and you can lift up your right toes, you can explore that. Back to lunge, back to pyramid, back to lunge, last time back to pyramid. And then back into the lunge, step your back foot forward, come halfway up, extend your spine. Exhale, fold forward, and inhale, sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Well done. All right, let's do the other side. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, come halfway up, extend the spine. Exhale, step back to plank. Again, finding that strong plank. Thigh muscles are strong. Exhale back to dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to dog. Inhale to plank. Exhale to dog. Last one. Inhale to plank. Exhale to dog. Now move your toes a little closer to each other. Shift the weight into your right leg and sweep that left leg up. Go ahead and open the hips to the left, bend the left leg, flex the left foot, but try to keep your shoulders square. Big arch, big yawning stretch to the left side body. Last big breath in, and then as you exhale, square the hips to the floor, draw your left knee underneath, rounding your back, and then step your left foot forward. And if it doesn't quite make it where you want it to, scooch it forward. One side was probably easier than the other. So we're staying up on the ball of the back foot, finding your balance. Bring your left hand up onto your left leg, sweep that right arm up. Good. And then we're going to stretch up and over towards your left. So reach the arm up and stretch it over towards the left. And then come back to center. Let your right hand come onto your right thigh. Let the left arm sweep up. Press that left thigh into the hand as you lift up as much as you can. Ooh. And then release your right arm all the way up. This is hard work. And exhale, let your hands find the floor. Good. Slowly straighten your front leg, coming into pyramid. Pulse back to the lunge and straighten the leg into pyramid. Keep moving with your breath. Inhaling, softening, exhaling, extending, maybe lifting those toes up, sending your back heel towards the floor. Good. And then soften into your left leg. Walk your hands forward and step your back foot forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, fold forward, and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Whew, good, take a breath. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, come halfway up, extend the spine. Exhale, step back to plank. Hold your plank nice and strong. And then as you exhale again, lower the knees or come straight into a chaturanga, holding it. Good, knees can be down. And then lower yourself all the way to the floor. Straighten out your toes. Roll the thighs in towards each other. And then inhale up for a cobra. Exhale down. Flow through our cobra. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Good, and again, inhale up. Exhale down. Come all the way back up to all fours and back into downward facing dog. Move the toes a little closer to each other. Inhale your right leg up. This time keep your hips closed so you're not lifting the leg as high. Keep pressing the hands forward, stretching the back heel towards the floor. And as you exhale, draw your right knee underneath and step the right foot forward. Good. Now drop your back knee down. Bring your right hand up onto your right leg. Sweep the left arm up and sink down into this big hip flexor stretch. Go ahead and bend your left elbow. Grab a hold of the left elbow with the right hand and add that little tricep stretch. And then release the arms, stretch it back up. And as you exhale, we're going to come into a twist. So twist towards the right. Left elbow can hook to the outside of the right knee. I like to press against my right thigh to really turn my torso and come a little deeper. Then maybe press your palms together. See if you can get your arms parallel to the floor. And yes, don't forget, yoga's fun. So if you fall over, just laugh and come into it again. There we go. Find that twist. At least we weren't far from the ground. And then slowly come on back to the front. Bring your hands on either side of your front foot. Scoot your back knee back an inch or so and straighten your front leg. So another hamstring stretch. This time if you want to rotate your whole leg from side to side as though you're waving with your foot, do that. And And then come on back into a lunge. Turn your right toes slightly to the right and bring both hands to the inside of your right leg. Sinking the hips down into our lizard pose, lunging lizard. Scoot your back knee back. Bring your right hand up onto your right thigh and open your heart to the sky. Think of this as sunning lizard. And then let your back foot come up off the floor, adding that big quad stretch. So this might be enough for you right here. If you want a little bit more, reach your right hand back. See if you can make that hand to foot connection. Ooh, good. Find your breath. Soften into this stretch. Maybe pull your heel a little bit closer towards your hip. And then gently release your back foot. Let your hands come back to the floor. Let your back foot come back to the floor. Lift up your back knee and then step your front foot back to downward facing dog. And then we inhale forward to plank. Exhale, chaturanga on your knees or on your toes. Straighten out the toes. Inhale up for cobra. Exhale, fold forward. 2 more. Inhale up. Exhale forward. And inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Press yourself back up. Come on back to downward facing dog. Again, move your toes a little closer to each other. And then sweep your left leg up. Press the hands forward. Press the right heel towards the floor. Hips are square. One last big breath in, and then as you exhale, draw your left knee underneath and step your left foot forward. Drop your back knee down, scoot your foot forward if you need to. And then come on up onto your left leg, sweep the right arm up. Find that low lunge, big hip flexor stretch. Bend your right elbow, grab a hold of it with your left hand, and draw the elbows back. Release the arms back up. We're going to come into our twist, so lean forward. Start to turn, right elbow hooks to the outside of the left leg. Maybe press against your left thigh with your left hand. Turn this way. And then join your palms and come into that full twisting low lunge. Release the twist, come back to center. Hands come on either side of your front foot. Slide your back knee back an inch or so and straighten your front leg, lifting up the toes. And again, maybe wave your foot from side to side so you're actually rotating your entire leg. Maybe drawing your left hip back and scissoring your right hip forward. See if that gives you a little bit more hamstring stretch sensation. Slowly bend back into your front leg. Bring your left hand to the inside of your left foot. Turn your left foot out to the side. Maybe scoot your back knee back a little bit. And then let your left hand come up onto your left thigh, opening the heart to the ceiling. So our little sun lizard. I think today the sun is finally going to come out here, which is nice. But the problem with that is it's going to be 90 degrees. All right, adding the quad stretch, lifting those right toes up. Ooh. Extend the right arm back, find that big quad stretch, draw the heel in. Keep breathing. I have to remind myself to keep breathing. And then release, bring your hands back to the floor. curl the back toes under, scooch the back knee forward, and then lift the back knee up and step your front foot back. Stepping back to downward facing dog. And then soften your knees, look forward at your hands, and we're either gonna step or hop your feet to the outside of your hands, coming into our squat, our malasana. Soften the knees, forward, and then hop. And start to drop your hips down. So coming down wherever you can. We'll turn sideways again. So you might be right here, depending on how your knees are, that's fine. You have to adjust the position of your feet where it's comfortable too. Or you can maybe lower yourself all the way down. Try to straighten up your torso. My elbows are pressing out against my knees. Palms are pressing together. Again, another hip opener. And then let your hands come to the floor. Start to come to the balls of your feet. Lift up your hips and come into a forward fold. So you can adjust your feet so they may be hip width apart now. Allow your spine to hang. Maybe clasp your opposite elbows and let your head hang. Take a few moments just to sway side to side. Do whatever other little movements might feel good. And then release your arms and slowly walk your hands up, step your feet together, and bring the hands together in front of your heart. Whew. Well done. All right. At this point, let's do our little balancing pose. So we'll come into tree, starting maybe with your hands at your hips. Find a focal spot, something to gaze at that's not going to move. Don't gaze at me, I have a feeling I'm going to move. And then we'll start by shifting all your weight into your right leg. So allowing your left knee to soften. Engage those belly muscles. So think of zipping up from the pubic bone to the belly button. Draw the belly button towards the spine. And then let your left knee turn to the side a little bit, but try to keep both hip points facing forward. And now see if you can place that left foot at your right ankle or at your calf. Try to avoid the right knee. If you're going to move the foot higher, bring it against your inner thigh. Good. Find some steadiness. And if you want to add the arms, you can bring the hands together in front of your heart, lifting up the skin of your chest, your sternum. Maybe extend the arms overhead, coming to a tree. You can be wide like the oak tree or pointy like the pine. Pointy pines are a little bit more difficult because when your arms are closer to your midline, it's a little bit harder to balance. So airplane arms are a little bit easier. Pointy pines or cedars, a little bit trickier. If you come out, then just go back in, and we'll stay for about 3 more breaths. Try to find that long, steady breath. And then slowly bring your hands back down to your waist. Let's see if you can lift your left leg up, bringing that thigh to parallel. Ground strongly through your right leg. And let's see if you can extend that left leg forward. So hold this for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and lower down. Whew, shake it out. Good job. Okay, take a moment to shake everything out. And then start to find your steadiness again on both feet. So you can rock back and forth a few times. And now start to let your left leg get solid and grounded. Again, zip up from pubic bone to belly button. Maybe start with your hands on your hips. Soften into your right knee. And turn that right knee out to the side. Remember, hip points stay facing forward. Place your foot at your ankle or your calf or above your knee against your inner thigh. Nice and strong and steady. And then maybe add the arms. Lifting up through your sternum. Ooh. Lifting up the arms. Finding that that steady breath. And bring your hands back down to your hips. Good. Extend. Bring your right knee forward. So you want a parallel leg here. Pressing strongly down through your standing heel. And then straighten the leg out. Good. Hold it for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, good. Shake it out. Pretty much tightens up all of your hip flexors that we spent all that time stretching out, so bummer. All right, now from here, let's step our feet wide and turn your right foot towards the front of your mat, the short edge of your mat. Bring your left heel slightly out. We're going to come into triangle, so bring the arms up. Keep your legs straight and just do a few times of reaching for that front wall. Reach, reach. Now if you have yoga blocks, this might be a time where you might want to use them. So we're reaching, legs are straight, and let your right hand come down. I'm going to grab a block, press my hand into the block, and extend the top arm up. So just take a few breaths here in your triangle. I'm pressing strongly through the big toe mounds of both feet. I'm pinching between the shoulder blades slightly. Maybe look up, or look straight to the side, or even look down at the floor. Now take your top hand and bring it onto your back. See if you can slide your hand all the way up between your shoulder blades. Turn your gaze to the floor and start to bend into your front leg. So now pressing strongly through the back foot as well as the front leg, sweep your right arm up and back. And if you're lucky, you might be able to clasp your hands behind your head. Luckily, you all can't see it because there's a big old space between my hands. That's okay. Good. Try to lift up. Good. Try to keep a nice bend in your front leg, front knee over the front ankle. And then release your bind, extend your arms out, maybe move your right foot or your left foot a little bit farther back. Good. So widening out into our warrior 2. Turning your gaze forward. As you exhale, try to sink just a little bit deeper into this pose. Warrior 2 builds strength in your legs. Track that front knee a little bit more towards the pinky toe side. And then coming into extended side angle, bend your right arm and extend your left arm overhead. You can also let your hand come down onto the block, or maybe even all the way to the floor. So you might want to look up at your upper hand. Keep pressing strongly through that back foot. Keeping all that strength in your legs. Come all the way back up to warrior 2. And now straighten your right leg. Turn your toes forward and clasp your hands behind you. Good. So as you turn your toes forward, make sure the outside edge of your foot lines up with that short edge of your mat. For most of us, that means moving your heels slightly more out to the side. Now my hands are clasped behind me. Try to press the heels of your hands together. Roll the shoulders back, lift the heart. And then send your hands towards the floor and hinge forward. As you hinge forward, maybe your hands can come up off of your back, but maybe not. Start to let the crown of your head stretch towards the floor. Slowly release your hands, bring them back onto the floor in front of you, coming up onto the fingertips, look forward, and then just gently, alternately go from side to side. Little side lunges. Good. Come on back to center. center. Strong belly muscles here. Bring your hands to your hips and bring yourself all the way back up. Whew. And then we'll do that on the other side. So turn your left toes towards the front of your mat, the short edge of your mat. Right heel slightly out, legs are straight. Bring the arms up, and then reach and come back. So just do that little reach and stretch 2 or 3 times. 2, good, and 3. Keep that nice long extension, and let your left hand come down. So if it's just waving around down there, reach around for your block. Pressing into the block, extending up through the top hand. Finding that long, strong triangle. Still pressing into the balls of the feet. Shoulder blades draw together. Gaze can either be up, out to the side, or down to the floor. Just take a few breaths here in triangle. And now turn your gaze to the floor. Start to soften into your front knee a little bit, your left knee. Take your top hand behind you. Kind of wiggle the hand up in between your shoulder blades. And then gazing down at the floor, strong legs. Sweep that left arm up. And see if you can find the bind. And draw that top elbow back. Bending into your left leg. Good, maybe looking up. Again, noticing there's probably a difference between your 2 sides. And then release your arms. Maybe widen your stance a little bit, coming into our warrior 2. Keeping in mind all those general cues of keeping your knee over your ankle and tracking the knee towards the pinky toe. Good. Strong back thigh. Turning your gaze forward over your left fingertips. Maybe softening a little bit deeper as you exhale. Nice. And then bend your left elbow, place it on the left thigh, and extend your right arm overhead. The option is to come down onto the block as well. A little bit further. And then maybe look up underneath your arm or towards your top palm. Good. Bring yourself all the way back up, super hard. Good. And then straighten your front leg, hands to hips. Turn your toes forward again. Line up the outer edges of your feet. Inhale, lift the heart, and exhale, hinge forward. This time you can go ahead and let your hands come to the floor. Maybe grab a hold of your legs or your ankles, or you can grab a hold of your big toes with your index finger and your middle finger, and just draw yourself into this forward fold. Release your hands from wherever they were. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Once again, coming on your fingertips, and then go from side to side. Good. Nice. And then coming back to center. And we're going to turn your heels in, toes out, bend your knees, and bring your hands just above your knees. Fingers are pointing towards the floor. Kind of just a happy hangout place. Scoot yourself, wiggle yourself from side to side a little bit. Then coming back to center and drop your left shoulder, look over your right. And switch sides. Drop your right shoulder, look over your left. Good. One more time to each side. Drop the right shoulder, look over the left. And switch sides, drop the left shoulder. Shoot, I said it wrong. Right shoulder, look over the left. And then coming back to center, go ahead and straighten up. Turn your toes forward again and step your feet together. Whew. Good job. All right, turn back towards the front of your mat. And we're we're gonna flow our way down for the last little bit of stretching. So again, starting with your hands together in front of your heart. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, come halfway up. Exhale, step back to plank. Lower yourself, chaturanga, maybe hover here for an extra second. And then inhale, cobra or up dog. Remember, in up dog, only your hands and your feet are on the floor. Knees are lifted. Heart is lifted. Exhale, back to downward dog. Now widen out your dog a little bit. Move your feet a little bit out to the sides. Maybe shorten your dog a little bit as well. We'll add a little dog twist to our dog. Then take your right hand and slide it underneath. Grab a hold of the outside of your left leg and come into a little bit of a twist. So you're gazing underneath your left arm. And then bring your hand back, right hand back, switching sides. Grab a hold of your right shin with your left hand. Look underneath your right arm. And then release. Woo, with a resounding slap, bring that hand back down. And then lower your knees to the floor and we'll sit back in a child's pose. So child's pose, you can either have your feet together, knees wide and sit back, or you can keep your knees lined with your hips and sit back. Whatever works for you. Just start to let your body round. You can extend your hands forward, softening your hips towards your heels. And slowly walk your hands back. Maybe sit on your knees if that works for you. It's not going to work for me, so I'm going to curl my toes under, just be a little bit higher up on my knees. But if you can sit down on your knees for just a moment. Okay, taking a breath. And then go ahead and sweep your feet off to your left and come down onto your right hip. You can open your legs out a little bit so that your right foot presses up against your left thigh, sit up nice and tall. And then walk your hands around to the right. And release back to center. Sweep your left foot forward. Press your right foot against the inside of your left thigh, sit up nice and tall. And then we'll come into a forward fold, moving your head towards your knee. So Janu Sirsasana, which is head to knee pose. Or as close as you can get it, right? Slowly make your way back up, lean over onto your left hip, just sweep your legs around so that your left foot is on top of your right thigh, sitting up as tall as possible. Start to walk your hands around towards your left. Release back to the front, bring your right leg forward, left foot tucks against your right thigh, sitting up nice and tall, and then walk forward, folding forward. Hands can either stay on the floor, or you can grab a hold of your leg, or even beyond your leg. And then slowly come on back up. Just slide both feet in, bringing the soles of the feet together, coming into our bound angle Baddha Konasana. So you can hold on to your feet. Try to keep the outside edges of your feet together and maybe let your feet open up like a book. Wriggle yourself. Maybe scooch your hips a little closer to your heels. Keep your elbows close to your side. And then lean forward. Good. And now go ahead and let your spine round a little bit, tucking your chin to your chest, letting your crown of your head round towards your feet. And then slowly come on back up. Take your hands to the outside of your knees. Bring your knees back up. And then we're going to lower yourself onto the floor, almost to Shavasana. So once you're down there, hug the knees into the chest again. Release the back with a few circles of the knees. And circle back the other way. And then release your knees. Let your feet come in. Let yourself come into happy baby. So again, soles of the feet face the ceiling. Maybe this time your hands easily reach the outer edges of your feet. Draw the knees down to the floor. Rock a little bit side to side. Good. And then release your feet and stretch yourself long on the mat. Feet reach towards one end, arms stretch overhead towards the other. Take a big breath in, point your toes, flex your fingers, hold your breath. Feeling all that air and tension in your body. And then open your mouth and exhale with a big sigh. Allow the arms to float down to your sides. Allow your legs to just flop out to the sides. Maybe wriggle your shoulders underneath you a time or two. Turn your palms up towards the ceiling and have your hands be a few inches away from your body. And let yourself just melt into the floor. This is your Shavasana, pose of the corpse. Letting all muscles go. Letting go of control of the breath. Just feeling yourself melting into the floor. I'm going to stay here. I'm going to keep you here for about maybe 4 or 5 minutes, but feel free to stay in Shavasana as long as you like, as long as your time allows. I'll ring my bells 3 times when it's time to come out. Until then, just try to keep your mind clear of the busy thoughts. If a thought pops into your head, acknowledge its presence and then send it away on the next exhalation, thinking of your thoughts as clouds that float across the sky. Begin to let your inhalation deepen and your exhalation lengthen. your awareness comes back into your body, slowly start to wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe gently move your head from side to side. And then roll the wrists and the ankles. Letting those little movements turn into any bigger stretches that might feel good. And whenever you're ready, bend your knees and roll over onto whichever side feels better. Staying there for just a moment. And use your hands to press yourself back up into a seated position. Scooch myself back up on here. Good. So once again, finding a comfortable seat with a straight spine. And we'll take one big breath in together, sweeping the arms up. And exhale, bring your hands together in front of your heart. Bowing down to your own heart. And the light inside of me acknowledges and greets the light inside each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me today. And quick public service announcement, if you want to find any more classes from the Woodlands Yoga Studio, you can go to YouTube, and it's Sue Brooks on YouTube. So it's just as it sounds, Sue, S-U-E, and Brooks, B-R-O-O-K-S. And also you can go to Facebook, of course, the Woodlands Yoga Studio on Facebook, and you can find all sorts of lovely classes. So enjoy your isolation. I miss you all and hope to see you soon. Bye.